turning to the next page, azamra. Now we're quoting from, literally from Likutei Moharan, 282 of book part 1 of Likutei Moharan. And he quotes from the Psalm, I will sing to my God with the little I have left. I will sing to my God with the little I have left. Well, here's the same idea again. NACHMAN of Breslov is not known for his succinctness. He says everything 1,000 times. And in a sense, he's basically saying one thing over and over again. And I'll be saying one thing over and over again with all the many different metaphors here. I already said it, so I'll just be saying it over and over again in different ways. All right, so I will sing to my God with little I have left. Now, what is singing and what is little? The singing, well, let's start with little. Once, when we do the Gestalt process, so let's take the scary dream. We start off with a whole bunch of negative judgments about this monster. This monster is... and then Franklin says, my monster's side. So there's a lot of judgments here, negative judgments, and the distinctions of good and evil. Okay, I'm the silence in this dream, and I am the ominous aspect of this dream. From me cometh forth the scary monster that's going to blow your mind. From me cometh forth, from me the silence, cometh forth the scary monster that's going to blow your mind, Franklin. If I can identify with that, what if I say that to the audience? From me, audience, cometh forth the scary monster that's going to blow your mind. Well, I don't know if I want to share all that scary monster side of myself today. I wasn't planning on that. Hope this session doesn't get a little too heavy. I might chicken out. I might not even tell you what it is. I might not even put it on the net. See, I can always censor it. I could just not put it on the net. I'm free. Okay, so I can risk going ahead because I know I can always pull the plug and not tell you about it. All right, so I am the scary monster that's going to blow your mind. I am Franklin, the scary monster that's going to blow your mind. What can that mean? I'm the silent part of Franklin that could blow your mind if I ever gave you my message. The silent part of Franklin that could blow your minds if I ever gave you my message. I am the silent part of Franklin Webner that could blow your minds if I ever gave you my real message. If I ever... neighbors. I can't scream too loud. Scary part of Franklin Webner, blow your mind. So as the work goes along, we peel the onion. We take each of those X minus X, good, bad, up, top dog, underdog, pompous ass piece of shit. Each of those oppositions there, and we peel them away one after the other. And each time we're doing that, we're peeling away another ego trip. So the little that's left is the non-ego, the non-thingness that's left. And that's the part that's able to sing. And that's the part that's able to do azamra, which is a kind of hyper-singing rather than just ordinary zamar or an ordinary singer. And in Gestalt therapy, they call that hyper-singing, they call it an explosion into authenticity, which comes from doing a certain amount of Gestalt work, a lot of work on a relationship or awareness, whatever it is. And you get to the point where suddenly all these Gestalts, all these awareness moments congeal into a moment of explosion of anger or explosion of joy or orgasm or what's the other one? Grief. That explosion into authentic emotion is what he's calling here azamra, hyper singing, we call it. Where a whole bunch of gestalts, little gestalts or little awareness moments on the level of lower level can congeal into a higher level. Now, if you want to look at this in terms of Plato's, the underlying Platonic philosophy, yes, you could say all these microcosmic events of awareness in our everyday world congeal into a higher level, explode, cross a barrier that we would not be able to cross logically into the world of the macrocosm, the world of pure Platonic ideas, and some pure Platonic idea explodes forth. Okay? It's a kind of a figure ground reversal. So that's the singing that will emerge once we peel away a few layers of ego crud. All right, that's that idea. Jumping to the next. And another quote is, "And in but a little bit the sinner is not, you shall reflect upon his place and he will not be there." And in but a little bit the sinner is not, you shall reflect upon his place and he will not be there. Now, let's see what we're talking about here. It does take in the dream work. I want to stay with the scary monster dream because that's something I could actually show you. The sinner, you might say, is, first of all, is a scary monster. He's a bad guy. Yeah, that guy. All right? Now, but we work on him for an hour in the dream work, and we discover that he's not so bad after all. And we include that monster and Franklin and the other elements, the 5 elements of the dream work. What were they? They were the people, the corridor, the silence, the monster, and Franklin. 5 elements. By all of these 5 elements dialoguing together, we move the whole thing. We set up a context of awareness, of I-thou communication, induction, the bubble. And in that context of the river, we move the whole thing to a higher envelope. If we're working and thinking in terms of moving towards the ultimate good here, the ultimate enlightenment, holistic experience. So from the point of view of that, it says here, go back to that quote. "And in but a little bit the sinner is not, you shall reflect upon his place and he will not be there." Yeah, because if you look back at the beginning level of the spiral that's unfolding here, he's no longer on that level. And neither am I. We both moved from that lower level. We did a quantum leap up to the next level of the spiral. And so he's no longer in his place. He's not there at all as a sinner. But now he's something else. When we get to the end of the dream work session, he turns out to be the Word, and Franklin turns out to be the prophet. And I'm not claiming to be any big prophet. I'm just talking about the context of this little process here. And that's not the whole world of God, but a little bit of the Word of God did seep through there, and a little bit of prophecy did come out of Franklin. So in that sense, the 2 sinners, the evil monster and the evil Franklin, both are no longer, by the end of that dream work session, X minus X, the 2 guys died off, were sublated, were negated. Those 2 negations of the one without a second were negated. And we moved up to the higher level. We're now at the level of Y, yn minus Y. So the monster is no longer a monster. Now he's a little bit of the Word of God, and Franklin is a little bit of a prophet. Although that's certainly Franklin. The next day is no prophet. Franklin is just as liable to make a fool of himself the next day. But we're just talking about this micro moments here. We're slowing down the clock. We're doing, like I pointed out in that video of the burning bush, we're zeroing in here on the wheels of God that grinds very slowly, but very small. Again, what's the message? What's the existential message of this dream work? This guy, let's go back to the dream. There's a guy with his knack to make music with drumsticks, 2 drumsticks. And he has an assistant. And I identify, first of all, with being the assistant. And I'm in this front of this audience here that I don't know what the hell I'm doing in front of an audience, because I don't make much sense of the situation either. And then, yet I'm astounded when this guy pulls it off. Everybody in the audience is totally happy. Nobody's feeling ripped off. Even the concert hall is impressed. Moved. There's motion. Hey, look at that. Remember, at the concert hall, I originally said, I am not moved. And here, because the movement that was happening was emotional movement. But here, when I'm dealing with existential movement, this unfolding dialectic, which has so many forms when I review my life, and the relationships of people and everything, that kind of motion, in other words, emotion and motion here are really one thing. Emotion, which has depth, is also philosophical, dialectical motion, religious motion, spiritual motion. What Aristotle calls local motion. What Aristotle says, and this is what Maimonides quotes in the guide, one of the 26 principles that Maimonides brings in from Aristotle into the guide, the beginning of part 2 of the guide. The idea that motion from point A to point B is not really important motion. What's the important motion in reality is what he calls local motion. What is local motion? It's in one place and it's in a circle. So that's the dialectic, X minus X, Y. Y minus Y, Z. It's always each time go around a circle, from being into non-being, thingness, no thingness, haloch, v'shov, in and out of focus, pure process mode, thing comes together into a butterfly, now I'm the Zen mode, now I'm a butterfly, back and forth, no things. That dialectic that's always unfolding as a hybrid system where the two sides are always coexisting together. That's motion. That is the motion that Aristotle was quite aware of, even 2,500 years ago. 2,500 years ago, 2,500 years ago. And that's the burning bush so maybe it's even older than Aristotle. So who got it first, the Jews or the Greeks? Who knows? It doesn't matter. We have the symbols in every tradition. So anyway, this dream, that motion is what affects, can make, if I'm the concert hall, and I can sense that in me, I am part of that motion, then I'm moved. Whereas before, when I just looked at this concert going on here, it was distant. It was very distant. I didn't feel it was moving. It was happening in there, but somehow very distant. But now, when having gone through a few stages of the dialectic here, I could, even the concert hall feels part of this action here. Now the guy that's running the show, the musician with his two sticks, it's not the sticks that are important. That just shows to show that the important thing is not the sticks. The important thing is the motion, the intricacy, the precision